Welcome, everyone, to our client-side chats. Today, we have the pleasure of talking with Ann Heywood, who is the CEO of Thompson Lichtner. And if those of you in California who haven't heard of them, that's because they are based out of Boston area in Massachusetts. So with that, Ann, you want to take over? Just take 30 seconds and kind of talk a little bit about what your company does, and then we'll get into talking about some of the safety aspects with today's situation.
We're, like you said, we've been around for over 120 years. We're a testing and consulting small business. We focus on building envelopes, but we also have a lab that does construction materials testing. So we have a very broad base of services that we offer the construction industry, both pre-construction and after construction, historical buildings. We do a lot of different things that way, mostly consulting.
That's pretty cool. But your folks are engineers, right? And they go on sites, yes. and then the lab is doing structural tests or loads or anything like that, those kinds of things?
Loads and things. A lot of concrete testing, but then they also do steel and rebar and fireproofing and all kinds of things like that. It's quite a big, broad base of tests that we do.
That's
great. Some are in-house and some are out in the field on the job sites.
That's fascinating. I can imagine the challenges, already from that standpoint, just based on that description. But during this time of COVID, how has that kind of impacted you? I know offline, you and I were kind of talking a little bit about some of the creative things that you came up with. So kind of give us in about a minute or two what you've had to do as CEO of the company.
Well, we've been open the whole time. We're considered an essential business. So it's been a gradual getting into things because actually the whole thing has been gradual. Our governor has put out certain rules and then, and a few days later you get some more rules and all that other stuff. So one of the biggest challenges was initially finding things because there was a big run on paper towels, toilet paper, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Here I am with an office with employees that I would like to keep safe also. So I'm out there looking and searching and so forth. So at a certain point when I couldn't find certain things, what I did was I made them up. I couldn't find, our guys go to job sites where sometimes at least initially, not so much anymore, but initially let's say the sanitary facilities were not the best. So we wanted them to have something that they could clean their hands with without bringing water when there's no water or soap available. So I could not find hand wipes to save my soul. So anyway, took a paper towel one day and I took a baggie and I started out using Lysol. I spray the paper towel down with that, fold it up, put it in a plastic bag, and take it with you. But recently I was reading where, hydrogen peroxide works just as well. And I'm thinking, that sounds good. And it doesn't smell so bad. After a while, the Lysol can get to you. So we've been doing that. I still haven't been able to find any of those, the wipe things. But that was a creative discovery or way to handle things. We also had, as I have right here.
There you go.
I finally last week, Sunday, found some liquid hand sanitizer, which is very runny. It's not like the gel at all.
Right.
But I found it in a larger container, and I could only buy, this is the other challenge, you can only buy one or two, and they don't want you buying as many as you need at once, so you have to keep going back in different days and hope they still have it. So I bought a larger bottle. It's not very large, but in one CVS they said I could have 3, and I went to another CVS and they said no, our rule is 2. And by the time I get to the third CVS, this is 3 different towns. I can only buy one. But anyway, I have it. So then I thought, how am I going to divvy it up? Because that's all I had. So I bought some travel makeup containers. And Yeah, that's what I mean by getting creative. And I just poured them into all these, and here we are. I labeled them myself, and they like it. It would have been nice to have smaller ones just because they like to put them in their pockets, but this was, Concord also. But recently, recently we've been interviewing because we're trying to hire. And I thought, having people, I don't like to interview this way because I figure, if they're going to work here, they're coming here anyway. So I wrote myself up what I call a letter of a COVID-19 safety certification letter.
Uh-huh.
It's not really a letter, but it's on our letterhead. And it says that, I certify that I have not been close to anybody. It's got a, good chunk of all the things you want to be feeling like nobody's been in contact.
Right. So kind of like a personal screening type of thing.
Yeah, but at the bottom they have to sign it, and they have to sign it before they come in that door, and I mean it. So I've got it on a clipboard, and they slip it out to whoever it is, even though we have, and before people came for interviews, I actually sent them a copy. Here, please print, sign, bring with you. Mm-hmm. And they've done that. So, as it goes, you figure your way around, not around, but you figure, we should probably be doing that. So.
Right. Now, with regard to that, I know you've been masking all this time too while you're in the office, even though you have space that you could go without it. What do you see possibly coming up, say in the very near future, that might be a challenge as the economy in a lot of different states starts to open up? Now, I know in Massachusetts that probably will start happening, meaning you may end up being in closer contact with more people on the construction sites than you've been before. Any particular challenges you see there?
I see most of the challenges getting people on board to continue doing what they're doing in the office out on the job sites. Some of the tests that we do, for instance, a window test requires 3 people, depending on the size of the window. Now, we don't do very many residences. We do large-scale high-rises, usually. Right. A lot in the city of Boston, which we haven't been able to do because they closed that one down. But, all over. We're going next week to Maine to do something. So all over New England. So I just hope that when the guys are out there and they're more exposed, because we've been working all along too, but when they're more exposed to more people, that might possibly be more, I don't know, I just figure the more people you're exposed to, the higher your probability. The chance. Yeah, I hope that they really respect carry on with, I think they will with the masks now. It's almost like a habit now. Good. It doesn't mean much. Yeah. The only, but with all the rest, with the hand washing and bringing some of the hand wipes with them and trying to distance as much as possible, that's a hard one when you're trying to move large items and all that and observe things. And, you never know the people you meet too. That's True. The thing. So that's right. My biggest concern is keeping everybody healthy.
Well, that sounds good, Ann. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule today to chat with us. Best of luck with this. And hey, we'll probably come back to you at some point in time in the future and see how it's working out.
All right, great.
Okay.
Thanks.
You. Bye-bye. Bye.